Welcome to Velvet Owl learns how to increase the semen in his ejaculate. Um, yeah, I don't know why that popped up as a suggested video for me when I logged onto YouTube this morning, but apparently the algorithm over at YouTube thinks that I don't have enough semen or not enough sperm. I forget now because I've already passed that and watched some other videos to take my mind off of. So I don't remember if it was exactly increasing my sperm or increasing my semen. I guess increasing my sperm within my semen. Or maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe YouTube overheard me talking about Peter North, or me clicking searching for Peter North videos, because that man is a national hero in my opinion. The amount of semen he shoots out. Do kids know? Do the kids these days know about Peter North? Is he still man? It was like the thing back in my day, because the massive amount of semen he could shoot for his money shots was fantastic. I don't know why he even wasted his time being a porn star. He could have been putting out forest fires with that thing. But I make that joke a lot, but I'm now wondering, what would happen if you put semen on a fire? If you just ejaculate on a fire, would that help put it out, or would that increase the fire level? Things to think about. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube suggested this for me, because YouTube are a bunch of pricks, I guess. Because I don't think the video has anything to do with Peter North. Though, if it was Peter North telling me how to increase my semen, then I might watch, because I would be curious as to what his tips and strategies are. No, this is Velvet Owl watches Baywatch Nights, so you don't have to. Episode 3 of Season 2, which is the 22, 23, 24, 25th episode overall of the series. Yeah, do you like my math there? So this episode's called Rig, so I'm assuming they probably are on a oil rig or something, and there's probably a monster on the oil rig. Woo! I thought I was gonna enjoy this show more when it moved to the supernatural thing. But so far, I kind of like it more when it was just a cheesy police procedural. And now that it's this cheesy X-Files knockoff, it was such a good idea. But the first 2 episodes so far have just left me feeling flat about it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's too soon to judge. Because, the first couple of episodes of season 1 were kind of lame as well. And so maybe the show just hasn't had time to find its supernatural groove yet. So I will watch this with an open mind. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna watch this making fun of it. Let me press play. The episode starts off on an oil rig, so I was right on that fact. It is about the rig in question of the title is an oil rig. And there's a bunch of oil workers that are spending the time, because it's not a waste to do something other than working, because you should not be fucking consumed. Because you probably are living on an oil rig, so you shouldn't be consumed 100% with working on the oil rig, right? You need some downtime. And so they're spending their downtime playing poker and smoking cigars. And granted, I've never worked on an oil rig, so I don't know what it's like, but I feel like that's a place you don't want to be smoking. On account that you're near oil. And you would not want to accidentally drop your cigar ashes onto the oil. That's just where my mind goes. But again, I've never worked on an oil rig, so there's probably all sorts of safety things that makes it safe to smoke a cigar near oil. They know what they're doing. They're professionals. But then they hear this noise. And so this one dude goes up to check on the noise because it's his turn. and he opens up like a pipe valve or something and sticks his hand in it. Again, I'm sure they're professionals and know what they're doing and are going to stick their hand into an oil pipe, not wearing gloves of any sort. And there's some gunk, and he's like, yeah, tosses the gunk into like a bucket. Because I'm guessing, these pipes have oil. They probably do get gunked up and need to be cleaned out. And when you're a professional oil rigger, you know how to clean it out with your bare hands. Just right the way you do it. So he puts his hand again. But this time it isn't just regular gunk. It's like this weird translucent slime. And the pipe has a green light glowing from it. And so his natural reaction is, let me stick my hand in it again. No glove. I'm not going to even bother putting glove. That I don't know what this shit is. And now the pipe is glowing. And let me just put my hand again. And this time, you've tempted fate too many times, dude. And now it's like some sort of acid or something that's like eating away his arm. And the other guys come and check on him, and they're all scared. Like, what the fuck's going on? His arm is just being eaten up. And there's goop falling from the ceilings, and oh no. Then we cut to a week later. And where are we? Oh, sorry, I got distracted, and I'm not even sure what I got distracted by. But so Hasselhoff is painting a beach house. Not a beach house, just like one of those huts for the lifeguards. Because Hasselhoff, he does everything. And he's not wearing his brown Adidas bomber jacket. No, even better, he is wearing an Adidas hoodie vest or something. I don't even know what to call this thing. Because it's like a sweatshirt. Because it's got the hoodie. But it has no sleeves. Which is purely like something that only California could come up with. I need a hoodie that has no sleeves. And I don't know if it's just he cut off the sleeves because he's like, I'm Hasselhoff. I got to show off my guns. But it gets kind of chilly. It's like that Simpsons joke where Bart starts wearing a vest. And he says it's because his chest is cold, but his arms are not. And maybe that's what it's going on. Like, Hasselhoff's like, my torso is chilly, but not my arms, because I got to show off these guns. But I need the hooded part in case I need to, put it up and keep my head warm as well. And of course, it's from Adidas, because this show loves Adidas. You know what? Because Hasselhoff is trying to secretly tell us that all day he dreams about sex. That is why he's always wearing Adidas clothing. But Angie Harmon comes up and tells him, like, Teague, the new guy that none of us like, we rather have Garner. At least I do. I don't like Teague. I want Garner back. Garner was awesome. Garner could get shit done. Teague, he's just like this little pussy, little pansy guy stuck around. What was I watching recently where someone said like pansy and other people were like, dude, seriously, you say pansy? And the guy's like, dude, I'm like from so long ago. Oh no, because I'm currently reading like some Captain America, and when Winter Soldier comes back, and he called someone pansy, and girl Hawkeye, what's her name? Kate Bishop is like, dude, seriously, you just said pansy? This is like the 21st century. And he's like, what? I didn't mean to. I'm like from the 50s. I've been frozen all this time. So I apologize for saying pansy and calling Teague a pansy. Because you know what? He's not cool enough to be a pansy. I want Garner back. Seriously. But anyhow, Teague was telling Angie Harmon about, the shit that happened on the oil rig. Might be something a little supernatural about it, because it also happened on this oil rig in Saudi Arabia. And what are the chances that, two separate oil rigs are gonna be dissolved by acid that the survivors can't really account for? Well, actually, even the Saudi Arabia, there was no survivors. So we don't fucking know what happened on the Saudi Arabia oil rig, but we're gonna assume that it's just like what happened on this American oil rig. Now they're checking the oil rig, and Hasselhoff is grumpy because he's hungry. And Angie Harmon's like, no, we investigate first and then we eat. Which, could you really investigate on an empty stomach? Especially when you have Hasselhoff, who's just gonna be grumpy. He's all fucking hangry and shit. And so they're investigating the area where the guy melted. Apparently his entire body melted, not just his arm. And I don't know still why the first reaction from people isn't there was some acid or some shit that accidentally got there and that fucking melted his arm off and the rest of his body apparently. No, they're thinking oh, there's got to be something weird. And so Hasselhoff's checking the area where the guy did, and because Hasselhoff, he's fucking careless, because he's hungry, just sticks his hand in there, and oh no, something grabs his hand and won't let go, and Angie Harmon's scared, and oh no, it's nothing, it's just that Hasselhoff's a fucking asshole. Because he was just playing and pretending oh, I just wanted to scare you. There wasn't really a monster holding my hand, but something burns. There's some residue. And they're like, oh no, what is that? As far as I can tell, they don't collect it as a sample. Maybe we see that happens off screen, because I would think if you have a weird burning residue from a pipe that basically caused the guy to melt, you might want to check on it and then maybe put some disinfectant on it. But then we go to the opening credits, which fuck you. Fuck you, Baywatch Nights producers. Just because you changed to a supernatural theme for season 2, you still could have used the theme song from season 1, which was just all fucking awesome. After the sun goes down, someone's gonna live, someone's gonna die. See, the lyrics still fit perfectly to the new thematic elements of your show. There was no reason to get rid of it. And if it was just because Lou Rawls wasn't involved in the show anymore and you didn't want to keep paying him royalties, just re-record the song with only Hasselhoff singing. I will be perfectly fine with that. The theme song was... I know, I hated it in the beginning, but by the end of season 1, it grew on me so much. Because my fucking, Stockholm Syndrome kicked in with it. So who knows? Stockholm Syndrome might kick in, and by the end of this season, I'll be liking this theme song that has no words. So I don't think I'm ever going to fall in love with this theme song, because there's no words for me to sing along with. I want the old theme song back. Can someone just re-edit these episodes and put the old theme song back into it? And you know what? I'm fucking hungry now. Damn you, Hasselhoff. Your hangry attitude has, just befallen me, because now I'm, hungry and upset about watching this show for the lack of theme song. And so, Hasselhoff and Angie Harmon are discussing, the facts of the case, and how amoebas, their only purpose in life is to eat. Which, fantastic, because I love amoebas. And I feel I'm kind of a kindred spirit with amoebas, because my only purpose in life is also to eat. I'm an amoeba that watches Baywatch Nights for some reason. Man, amoebas have a much better life than me because they are not watching Baywatch Nights. It's it's something, but Hasselhoff doesn't think there's anything weird or creepy going on here. It's just who knows. And they don't have much information about what happened in Saudi Arabia because the government's keeping close lid on it. And Teague has somehow found this information because Teague's got, his contacts or whatever. But even that, they don't have much information other than the crew members melted. And then the oil rig went dry. Very similar to the situation here where some of the crew members, not all the crew members like in Saudi Arabia, but only some. Actually, I think only one melted. And that oil rig also went dry. It's an oil monster. Woo-hoo. I mean, that's my thought. Angie Harmon hasn't come out and said oil monster, but I think she's thinking it. She just knows that Hasselhoff would laugh at her if she says the words oil monster. Then they notice a boat out in the water, which is very dangerous for the boat to be there because there are some reasons, I don't know. We'll just accept that it's dangerous, so Hasselhoff and Angie Harmon take their little speedboat over to see, okay, what's going on? We gotta try to get these people out of here, but they look around and no one's there. But there's food all over the place, so someone was there. And then they find a woman and she's really scared because her and her boyfriend or husband, I don't know. We'll go with boyfriend because, I don't know. I like the way boyfriend rolls off the tongue more than husband. Boyfriend just is a nicer word. It's a friendly word because he's someone who's a friend that happens to be a boy. And so they were having a fight when some sort of monster reached up and grabbed them and pulled them underwater. And now she needs to get off the boat, but she doesn't know how. And the only thing she can say about the monster was that it had a glow, a green glow. Ooh, remember, that pipe was glowing. And unfortunately, the ship's not working and the radio's not working. So Hasselhoff's like, okay, we'll get on our speedboat and we'll get you safety. But, oh no, their radio's not working. Their engine's not working. What do they do now? Well, the only choice they have is to get into the lifeboat and row their way over to the oil rig and hope that the radio there works. And the woman's very scared. She doesn't want to be in the water. I can't blame her, but she's there and they row all the way to the oil rig. But unbeknownst to them, in the water is glowing green. Ooh! Over on the beach, Donna D'Arco has apparently been promoted to a lifeguard. I forget. She was training for that last episode, wasn't she? But she's got the red Baywatch lifeguard suit, so she is a bona fide lifeguard. And she sees a guy drowning, and so it's time to jump into action. Slow motion action. Trademark Baywatch. And where am I? Yeah, I'm distracted by Donna D'Arco running in slow motion. But she saves the guy, and she is so super happy, and she can't wait to tell David Hasselhoff. But he's not around. So she has to settle for telling Photo Boy, but it's kind of weird. They should have been back by now. And it's starting to get nighttime. But, it is Hasselhoff. Like, they shouldn't be worried, right? Because it's Hasselhoff on the water. He can take care of himself, but no, it's not like him to be out this late. They're starting to get worried. And they should. It's over at the oil rig. It's windy and spooky and scary. And the woman is going all hysterical. Which, understandable, she saw someone get killed. Even though apparently she just met the guy, so it's not like she had like a big emotional bond with him. But still, seeing someone get killed probably gonna put a little damper on your day, you know? But Angie Harmon, she can't take it, so she's gonna show some tough love and tells the woman to sit down and shut up. Meanwhile, there's a noise, and Hasselhoff's gonna go investigate. And I forget already if he said he'll be back or not. I hope he didn't say that, because, when you say that you'll be back, it means you won't be back. And I'm not just talking about, like, horror stories. I'm talking about when your dad says he's going out for cigarettes and says he'll be back. He won't be back. So Hasselhoff is investigating, and he sees the glow in the water, and something, he's not sure because it doesn't really have a shape, destroys their lifeboat, and then gets on the ship. Oh no, it's an Morpheus Morpheus blob of slime has come. Like, oh, Hasselhoff's a believer now. There is a monster, and he goes running to where the women are, and he closes the door behind him and locks it. And unfortunately, the Morpheus blob comes and somehow unlocks the door from their side. No, he doesn't sneak in or anything. He just, I don't know, the locks unlock. Which I can believe. You've got this blob of slime, and I believe it can kill people by disintegrating them and can kind of move along. It's a mindless piece of slime. How did it unlock the door? Got magical powers or something? And so now it becomes survival horror where they're running around and trying to outrun the blob, but the blob just keeps coming. And they're like, what can we do? And they said, we can burn it. Because I think fire is how they killed the last two monsters. So it's kind of just a recurring theme, right? I mean, it's a good idea, I gotta say, on the basis that pretty much everything is flammable. And so there's a good chance that if you set a monster on fire, it's probably going to burn. And we'll give you a little bit of time. And so Hasselhoff just goes fucking MacGyver on this shit and makes a flamethrower out of a gas line. It's actually kind of cool and impressive. Fucking I want a reboot of MacGyver, but with Hasselhoff as MacGyver. This could work. This could work. So he makes a little flamethrower, and the fire is enough to make the blob back away. But there's still a little problem of how are they going to get out and kill the blob? Apparently the oil rig has a self-destruct button, as I guess you would need for an oil rig. I'm not sure why you need a self-destruct button. Really, for anything. I guess if you've got secrets that you can't let the enemy get, then yeah, self-destruct. I just don't really see why an oil rig needs a self-destruct button, but the plan is they're gonna hit the self-destruct button and jump into the water before the blob does, and the blob will get destroyed with the oil rig, and I guess the rest of them will just swim to safety. To be fair, I've got no better plan, so you take your chances there, Hasselhoff. I'm going to trust you. Now, Hasselhoff finds the first self-destruct box, and he's kind of annoyed because after you push all the buttons, you got to enter in a code. And like, oh, that's so annoying. Which, okay, I can understand the frustration just because you're on a time crunch right now. But me personally, I am glad that there are fail-safes like this so that someone doesn't accidentally hit the self-destruct button. You gotta enter in the code to let the computer know, Oh, yes, I definitely want to fucking self-destruct this oil rig. So he manages to get to all the boxes and start the sequence for self-destruct. Meanwhile, the women, they have to run from the blob because they've run out of fuel for their makeshift flamethrower. And luckily, Hasselhoff finds them and leads them to the escape bay and tells them to jump in the water. And he'll be in later, but first he's got to lure the blob away so that the blob can still be on the oil rig when it blows up. And, it'll kill the blob. We're assuming. We just figure, it's an explosion. It's got to kill a blob, right? And so Hasselhoff gets all the way to the top, and then he jumps off the oil rig as it explodes in slow motion. And luckily, Donna D'Erco and Photo Boy have been taking like their little sailboat looking for the guys, or well, it's one guy and two ladies, so I shouldn't say the guys. So they're looking, and they manage to get there just in time to save Angie Harmon and the other lady. But no one knows if Hasselhoff has made it out alive. Angie Harmon knows in her heart he had to have made it. He had to have made it. But there's no sign of him. But then Hasselhoff shows up on the side of the boat. And everyone's happy. He's still alive. Yay, the day is saved. And the ship just sails out into the sunset. And the end. And I don't know. Actually, this episode wasn't too bad. It was kind of decent on the survival horror aspects. And it's got a blob. I am a fan of the Blob, the movie, the original and the remake. So it was okay. I mean, better than the other two episodes this season so far. So I give this a solid okay. that's my rating system for Baywatch Nights. It's either okay or it's okay. Yeah. So we got how many episodes left? 11? Wait, so 22 minus 3. Got 19 episodes left. Not only do you get saved from having watched Baywatch Nights, you get to learn some math. That's my podcast. My podcast is a secret way to make you learn math. And you're just like, holy shit, I learned some math today. I was not expecting that. Today. See, like, if you hadn't been listening to my podcast, you would have never known what 22 minus 3 equals. So, you're welcome. velvetowl@hotmail.com or leave a comment in the comment section. I love you guys. So Hasselhoff is investigating, and he sees the glow in the water, and something, he's not sure because it doesn't really have shape, destroys their lifeboat, and then gets on the ship. Oh no, it's an Morpheus Morpheus blob of slime has come. Like, oh, Hasselhoff's a believer now. There is a monster. And he goes running to where the women are. And he closes the door behind him and locks it. And unfortunately, the Morpheus blob comes and somehow unlocks the door from their side. No, he doesn't sneak in or anything. He just, I don't know. The locks unlock. Which I can believe. You've got this blob of slime, and I believe it can kill people by disintegrating them and can kind of move along. It's a mindless piece of slime. How did it unlock the door? Got magical powers or something? And so now it becomes survival horror where they're running around and trying to outrun the blob, but the blob just keeps coming. And they're like, what can we do? And they said, we can burn it. Because I think fire is how they killed the last two monsters. So that's kind of just a recurring theme, right? I mean, it's a good idea, I gotta say, um, on the basis that pretty much everything is flammable. And so there's a good chance that if you set a monster on fire, it's probably going to burn. And we'll give you a little bit of time. And so Hasselhoff just goes fucking MacGyver on this shit and makes a flamethrower out of a gas line. It's actually kind of cool and impressive. Fucking I want a reboot of MacGyver, but with Hasselhoff as MacGyver. This could work. This could work. So he makes a little flamethrower, and the fire is enough to make the blob back away. But there's still a little problem of how are they going to get out and kill the blob? Apparently the oil rig has a self-destruct button, as I guess you would need for an oil rig. I'm not sure why you need a self-destruct button. Really, for anything. I guess if you've got secrets that you can't let the enemy get, then yeah, self-destruct. I just don't really see why an oil rig needs a self-destruct button, but the plan is they're gonna hit the self-destruct button and jump into the water before the blob does, and the blob will get destroyed with the oil rig, and I guess the rest of them will just swim to safety. To be fair, I've got no better plan, so you take your chances there, Hasselhoff. I'm going to trust you.